Hi everyone, good morning. Today let's discuss lesson number 3 from course book, and the name of the lesson is Wildlife in a City Pond. And in this lesson you are going to learn the importance of protecting our nature. We have already discussed 2 lessons and I hope you have completed your notebooks. So let's begin the lesson. This lesson has many species of animals. To see what they look like, look at the illustrations. So, in the lesson, you can see the names of many birds and animals and other creatures. So, look at the picture, then you will understand. Okay. It was dark outside, and I could not see much from my window. I had just moved into a new house in Pune that evening. There was a disturbing cacophony emerging from the dark. It sounded like hundreds of badly tuned radios crackling away. It was only in the evening that I began to solve the mystery. There, below my balcony, was a small pond. I realized it must be home to many animals that woke up only at night. Here we can understand that the author of the story had just moved into his new house in Pune that evening, and there was a disturbing cacophony. Cacophony means a loud, unpleasant mix of sounds, and that cacophony was emerging from the dark. It was evening, so it was dark there, and it sounded like hundreds of badly tuned radios crackling away. Crackling means a popping sound. So that cacophony was really disturbing. And can you imagine the how disturbing the sound of hundreds of badly tuned radios? Okay, so it was just like that, and he couldn't understand what was that because it was dark outside, and through the window he cannot see much scenes from outside. So, in the morning, he could solve the mystery. Mystery means something secret. And there he could see below his balcony there was a small pond, and it was a home to many animals that woke up only at night. Okay. So there was a pond below his balcony, and there were many animals who were making sound at night. So really, the cacophony was made by those animals. Okay. Over the next year, I watched the pond transform through the seasons. In summer, the area looked dry and lifeless, but come monsoon, life burst out like an orchestra. So, over the next year, days passed, and he could see how the pond transformed. Okay, in the summer, it was dry and lifeless. There was no water, it was dry. The pond was dried up, no life was there, it was lifeless. But when it started monsoon, rainy season, life burst out like an orchestra. Orchestra means large group of musicians playing different instruments. So when the rainy season started, there was a life burst out like an orchestra. Okay, and can you tell me what is the word for the pleasant smell accompanies the first rain after a long period of summer season? That means dry weather. What is that word? Can you tell? Yes, the word is, yes, it is petrichor. Okay, so petrichor means pleasant smell accompanies the first rain after a long period of summer season, dry weather. Okay, so I hope you all enjoy that pleasant smell. Okay, so the first raindrops on the thirsty land gave off a lovely earthy smell. They also did what no magician can do. They turned the brown earth into an oasis of green and blue. Oasis means a peaceful place. So after the first rain, there was a lovely earthy smell, that is petrichor, and the dry land became green. That became green and blue. Brown earth, that means dry land. became a peaceful place of green and blue. Within a few days, blades of reeds were shining silver in the sun. Plants that had seemed dead suddenly stood proud and tall. The chocolate brown roots of the typha plant swayed in the wind. Flowers were from nearby trees drifted everywhere. So after the rain, after starting the rainy season, you can see how the dry land became a blue and a green one. So in this paragraph, you can see how the plants became changed. The blades of reeds were shining silver in the sun. That means it was growing. It had a life there. It was what it was standing with full of energy. Plants that had seemed dead. So the plants were like dead ones in the summer season, but after they got the first raindrops, they were standing proudly. They were tall. They were standing proudly. They got their life back. The chocolate brown roots of the typha plant, chocolate brown, when it becomes chocolate brown, yes, when it doesn't get water, it becomes dried up and becomes chocolate brown color. So they swayed in the wind. Flowers from nearby trees drifted everywhere. So there were flowers also from different plants. Okay. Other creatures too joined in nature's dance. Brilliant blue kingfishers waited patiently on branches, suddenly sweeping down to catch a fish with a splash. Baya birds and scaly-breasted munias picked on the reeds from their nest. So not only plants, the birds also were enjoying the rainy season, and you can see what the kingfishers were doing. They were suddenly sweeping down to catch fish with a splash. Okay, and also Baya weaver birds. You can see the picture here. Along there in the four sides, you can see the picture of different birds, plants, and animals. So Baya weaver birds and scaly-breasted munias, they picked on the reeds for their nest. In the water, I noticed some rocks shining in the sun. But as my binoculars focused on them, I was astonished. They were turtles. Okay, so they were not rocks. When he looked, at the pond, he thought that it was what rocks, but actually it was turtles. And then I saw movement under the water. More flapshell turtles. Yeah, not only one, not only two. There were many flapshell turtles. Just a week back, the ground was barren. Where did the turtles come from? So, just a week ago, the pond was dried up. Nothing was there. No life was there. Then, from where these turtles come from? He was confused. Suddenly, he thought, yeah, I learned from a book that they slept under the ground during the dry summer and waited for the pond to fill up again. So, during the summer season, when the pond is getting dry up, where they are sleeping, yeah, they are sleeping under the ground and they are waiting for the pond to fill up again in the rainy season. In their honor, I started calling it the Flapshell Pond. So, in these turtles' honor, with respect to these turtles, he started calling the pond Flapshell Pond. Okay, so what is the name of the pond? Yes, Flapshell Pond. So you can underline the name of the birds and plants which you already got from the above paragraphs. Okay, you can just underline those names of plants and what? Yes, birds. And you are going to meet some animals also. Several birds walked around the turtles, which peacefully ignored them. The white-breasted water hen walked like a dancer, looking for food. A couple of pond herons moved secretly through the reeds, afraid of danger from birds of prey. And as the monsoon progressed, a pair of spot-billed ducks landed on Flapshell Pond. They hunted for snails and water plants and then took off to other natural restaurants. So here, uh, the pond was just like a restaurant for many birds and animals because they could collect their food from the pond. So restaurant means what? A place where we can get our food. So the pond was just like a restaurant for many animals and birds. They come there to collect their food. Okay. I thought that such a small pond could not have any mammals, but I was wrong. I would often see shy mongooses come to the edge of the water. Once I even saw an entire family with three babies, and where there were mongooses, could snakes be far behind? I was lucky enough to see checkered keelbacks, pretty water snakes, swimming between the reeds. So, we have seen water plants, birds there. And let's meet some animals too. So, first he is introducing shy mongooses. So, uh, the author could see an entire family with three babies. Okay. And next, he thought about snakes. Yeah, he was lucky enough to see checkered keelbacks, pretty water snakes. And the checkered keelbacks were swimming between the reeds. But what caused the loud noise in the night? Frogs and toads by the hundreds, croaking and singing away to attract their mates. They were joined by crickets, which seemed to have loudspeakers of their own. Listening carefully, I soon learned to appreciate this natural symphony. Okay, so first he told it was a cacophony. Cacophony means loud, unpleasant mix of sounds. Symphony means a piece of music composed of different elements. So, symphony is something musical. Cacophony means disturbing noise. Okay, so next he was thinking about who is making loud noise in the night. Yeah, he could find frogs and toads. Then whom? Yeah, crickets. Okay, crickets were the loudspeakers at night. And soon he learned to appreciate the natural symphony. Okay, and the frogs were croaking and singing to attract their mates. One day, I got the scare of my life. No, not from snakes or herons with mean looking beaks, but from some people walking around Flapshell Pond. So he was enjoying the life there. He really liked that pond with many creatures. And first, he was really disturbed with the sound the frogs and crickets making. But soon he started enjoying the music from the nature. But later, there happened something. He got the scare of his life. It was not because of the animals or birds lived there. It was because of human beings. Then what happened there? Yes, I found out from my neighbors that they were planning to drain the wetland and make buildings on it. Can you imagine that? How many animals, birds, and plants are living there? So the people, those persons were going to dry up the wetland, drain the wetland, drain the pond, and they were going to make buildings on it. They were going to destroy the pond and they were going to kill all the creatures living there. And their plan was to what make a building there. My heart sank. That means I felt disappointed and worried. He felt disappointed and worried. I could not let this happen. He was not ready to let it happen. A friend and I mobilized the neighborhood kids. We invited a few journalists. So he could what he got some kids to accompany them, and they also invited some journalists also. The next day, the newspaper carried news of the children's appeal. Other residents of the area started calling up various officials to tell them to save the pond. So he could influence the children living there and also the other people living in that area. And everyone was what they were working to protect the nature, protect the pond. Then a couple of environmental organizations joined in environmental organizations. Yeah, there are so many environmental organizations to protect our nature. We invited the city commissioner too. At first, he did not agree, but when he experienced the monsoon magic, he realized it would be a shame to destroy the pond. So city commissioner they informed city commissioner too, and when he experienced the monsoon magic, why that word is used? Yeah, it actually it is magical. Can you imagine, in summer season it is a dry land, brown in color, but when it gets the first drops of rain, it transforms to a blue and green land. So that is what the magic. Okay, so when he experienced the monsoon magic, he realized it would be a shame to destroy the pond. The All this finally did the trick. Flapshell Pond was declared off limits to any construction. So that land was declared as off limits. Off limits means the land was to be protected. How lucky I am to have experienced monsoon's magic. Here was a mini sanctuary in the middle of a bustling city. Here, nature's dance could continue, providing life to thousands of creatures, big and small. Sometimes magic is found in one's own backyard. So, only because of the order, that pond was safe. Okay, and many lives too were safe. So he's telling that then it was a mini sanctuary in the middle of a busy city. Sanctuary means an area for birds or animals where they are protected and cannot be hunted. So here, nature's dance could continue, providing life to thousands of creatures, big and small. So, if that pond is being protected, many creatures can live there. Thousands of creatures, big and small, can live there. And he is telling that sometimes magic is found in one's own backyard. So, in his backyard, below his balcony, he can see this magic. That magic will be continued there. That nature's dance will be continued. Nature's dance means the happiness of nature will be continued. So, if we have the determination to do something, we can do it. Only because of his determination, he could protect thousands of lives there. Okay, so here we can understand the importance of protecting our nature. Thank you.